daunting, isn't it? So I'm going to talk about the restaurant. I'm going to talk about the reason the restaurant came to be. And the reason the restaurant came to be was my desire to start the process in giving back to Indigenous Australians. And I'm from Scotland. I immigrated to Australia in January 2000. And I set about trying to... I was so fucking stupid, honestly. When I arrived in Australia, I thought there was around Aboriginal everywhere. And when I arrived, it was just another city. And when I started asking questions about, where is this ancient culture that I'd heard of, and because I wanted to try food, I couldn't find it, and all I could get was a stereotypically racist response about the people and their beliefs, spirituality, and how there was no real cuisine there, or food, or ingredients for me to pursue being a chef from a Michelin-star kitchen, and blah, 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 blah. I kind of took a step back and thought to myself, that's impossible. Australian Aboriginals have been getting around Australia as they are the oldest surviving culture in the world. So they'd been getting around Australia practicing their culture for 55,000 years before the Egyptians built the fucking pyramids. So to say that there is no food culture there, to me, was just impossible. So I started looking at research books and anthropologist notes and stuff like that, and there was very little information, particularly about food. So I said, I'm going to go and speak to an Aboriginal guy. I didn't know any Aboriginal people. I'm being Scottish and new to Australia, so I went down to Circular Quay, which is where that bridge and the house and whatever the tourist postcard is. And there's always some Aboriginal guys down there playing didgeridoo, clapping sticks, busking for money. And so I met this guy, Jimmy, and asked him if I could sit down and talk to him about food and growing up and what he ate and where he learned about food from. And I very quickly had this conversation which completely annihilated everything I'd been told about Australian culture. He talked about having sort of signals from the land. So when a specific flower blossoms, that it's an indicator that the stingray, the liver in the stingray is fat, and it's a time to hunt for stingray. And they will only hunt for that stingray during that particular season, of which there was 6 seasons and not 4. I'm going, okay. Then they start talking about the way they cook that stingray, and how there's different people in different tribes have different ways of cooking it. Some like to cook in the fire, some like to cook it in seawater. Other fish, they only cook in wood from trees where they catch the fish. So I'm having almost like a philosophical conversation with a chef, it seemed to me. He's talking about flavor, he's talking about cooking techniques. I, at that point, sort of said, okay, I actually don't know anything about Australian food or Australian people or Australian culture, for that matter. And so I made the decision as a chef to stop cooking and go and learn about Australian culture. And honestly, if you told me 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because I've been doing it now since 2000, so 16 years, if you told me I was going to be doing this 20 years ago, I would have said you were fucking mad. No way that I would be in another country doing that. I just thought it was impossible. But from that conversation in 2000, it changed my life. I'm going to show you a video now, just which I can ramble on about this foundation for fucking days. So the video kind of does it in a much more compact way. And then after that, I'll talk about what we hope to achieve and how we're going to do it. I came to Australia 15 years ago, and I didn't get a sense of our food culture at all. I got a glimpse of some amazing cuisines and multicultural diversity, but I didn't really feel any kind of connection culturally between Australians and the land. I needed to know more about the Australian culture. You know, what is it? And I found it in Aboriginal people and their connection with the actual land.
There's a lot of bush food and tackle we've got out here, but never been recognised much by anybody.
The land and the water, it was our source of life. Energy, strength, our everyday things that we needed to survive.
I had a realisation of just how sophisticated the Indigenous food culture was. What do you remember being the most delicious?
Porcupine.
Porcupine?
The fat. Oh, you see me going?
Yeah, go on, that's fantastic.
That's the #1 feed. Oh, God, we love that.
I'm finding ingredients every trip I go out. There's always something new. I need to find the key that unlocks the information to make that something, a resource that I can use and tell the story of where I am. To take something inedible and make it edible, the key to that lies in their culture.
You come, you learn about the life, about the birds, about everything, about every tree, every plant, every bird, every creature. A lot of these old men used to be very good. They were professors. Professors of the land, professors of the country.
I'm finding a lesser connection culturally when I go and visit a community now, and that's because there are missing gaps in their timeline from their family.
Government is very strong, you know, they come take kids away.
Yeah.
Like I was put in the boys' home, boys' home up here. Sisters were put in the dormitories.
Because my mob not from here, they're from up somewhere else. And, I mean, we're all from somewhere else, aren't we, Sandra?
In the mission, you weren't allowed to practice your
No,
culture.
we weren't allowed. In those days, we were given flogging. Flogged the living dead right out of you. And don't start playing that mumbo jumbo here, and this is part of the devil, they told us.
The social dislocation is huge, and that social dislocation has led to a number of pretty dark things happening within the community and within the culture.
Living the 21st century way, the white man's way they wanted you to live, it's not the way that we used to live thousands of years ago, and it's surely putting a lot of pressure on us.
We always say it's unemployment that brings a lot of frustrations too, because it's just the hopelessness of not being able to do anything.
It's that young generation, that young age group, 17 to 25. So